I'm like, check this crap out. I've never seen a person run out onto the track to close a door, and it took him about 4 or 5 slams to get the door closed again. And all of a sudden, there's a caution.
See, I would have lightened the mood by asking the fans, when is a door not a door? When it's ajar.
And moving on to our IMCA stock cars
You know,
next.
John, I gotta throw something. No, we'll let him stay on the track, but get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Speeding up, no slowing down.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Track Packers podcast for episode 22 of season 4. As you can see, we are almost all in parts unknown, but we're going to have a fun episode here with myself, Mason, and Mr. John Breckel and Jessup Pelkey for today's episode. John, how are you doing this week?
Mason, I am doing quite well. I am again in hiding.
I
So
can
I'm
see that.
traveling. I'm traveling for work this week. So I'm currently in the hotel room out here in Portland. And yeah, it's been a fun week of racing action. We were at a couple tracks, or I should say, we were at one track together this past weekend. So we had some fun on that. But besides that, it was a busy weekend overall with racing action for myself. And Mother Nature was nice to us, which was nice for once.
It's not been often we've been able to say that for a full weekend. Jessup, how are you doing back at the track again this week?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just getting ready for school. Last couple hours of freedom before going back to the grind.
Well, we better make the most of your last few hours.
Yeah, I'll probably just sleep it off and watch the world burn tomorrow.
Hopefully not. It's a celebratory day, the first day of school, or is it classes starting, or do you have to go into work tomorrow?
Well, classes start tomorrow,
Okay,
and yeah, we'll see what happens.
good deal. As
Hmm.
you can see, I am not in my normal location. I am still in Minot after a fun Sunday night at the Nodak Speedway. Decided to stay up here for a little extended time before getting geared up for all the year-end specials where I'll be traveling on quite a bit. So taking the advantage to spend some time at home, hang out with the family a little bit, and enjoy racing along the way. So I want to thank all you watchers and listeners that support the Track Packers podcast. We appreciate the support. I want to give a couple of shout outs. One to Chuck Scott, frequently checks in our episodes. So thank you, Chuck, for checking us out. And our good friend Brody Carlsrud, who listens in on a weekly basis. He did point out he did have a favorite part of last week's episode. It was the flashback with Jessup snoring.
Oh, that was one of my favorites from last week, too.
One of those other classic moments from TPP lore. So,
Yes.
thank you, as always, to the watchers and listeners, and thank you to our presenting sponsor, Hitch Harness, with Tyler Hall out of Fertile, Minnesota, who got to race once again this last week at Red River Valley Speedway. He was a little under the weather. I believe he was going to try to race the stock car on Saturday, but just not feeling up to it. But he's gearing up to go down to the 100,000 to win race in Iowa here shortly with Brody. So, gearing up for that. Hitch Harness, John, would you like to tell the folks at home what Hitch Harness is and the services that they provide?
So, Mason, thank you for having Tyler be one of our presenting sponsors for the podcast. Appreciate the support each and every year from Tyler Hall. Tyler has a great business out there with hitchharness.com. If you want to protect your truck bed hitch, you have to check out the services and accessories that he has on his website. He's got a lot of great tools, a lot of great accessories, a lot of great options for all of your truck bed accessories, as well as your vehicle accessories as well. So check him out. It is hitchharness.com. Once again, we do not want that hitch rolling around unprotected in the back of the truck bed, flying out, hitting Jessup, putting him unconscious. He's already had enough concussions in his life to where we need to protect him with that hitch harness. So again, check out Tyler's business at hitchharness.com.
Thank you very much, John. And once again, thank you, Tyler, for your support on the podcast. As you can see, the lineup is still John and Jessup on the front row. I'm back in the back row by myself. Was going to be Taylor and Charlie, which I am still, but we're missing Becca. She's a little under the weather, so hopefully she gets all rested up and ready to go for another busy week of racing. Hopefully coming up here in just a few days. And so why don't we get things started with the official drop or waving of the green flag and get right into who or what we are repping, starting off with Mr. John Breckel.
So I am wearing a brand new shirt that I received here last week, Friday. It is the brand new Austin Weist 471 t-shirts. So the shipment came out on Friday. Austin's got the 471 logo on the front. I'm not going to turn around on the back because I have a feeling my phone is going to fall down if I try to do that since I'm podcasting on my phone tonight. But his car is on the back. So there was a variety of different shirt colors. They had dark charcoal, black, they had a light gray, and they had a white. And I'm wearing the black shirt. It really pops with the orange and white on this shirt.
Sweet. Yes, it looked. When you came on, I'm like, wow, that looks like a brand new shirt with how like black and like vibrant it is.
It's very vibrant because I'm very colorful these days.
Sure. Excellent. Cool shirt. Jessup, what are you repping?
I am representing another random shirt. It is the Iliana Speedway, Motor Speedway out of Schererville, Indiana. And I'm trying to do some research on it. I don't know if it's racing right now, if it's not.
I've never heard of that Speedway.
Yeah, either have I. Pre-design work continues on the Iliana Speedway redevelopment. That doesn't sound good. The public knows and is reminded when the property was purchased. They're anxious to see. It's been large. The former racetrack itself could be used for entertainment and program. Oh, that's really not good.
That doesn't sound great.
While the southern portion could be used to expand athletic. Oh, this track's dead. R.I.P. Weird name track. R.I.P.
Shoot, so you have a relic of a shirt, is what you're saying.
Now, listen, fans, if you want to get yourself a piece of history, you reach out to Mason and try to get a contact. We will get you this shirt. It'll be $20, shipping and handling, and then you got to meet us at a location of probably one of our choices. Outside of that, it can be all yours.
I think you should hang on to that shirt, Jessup. Like you said, it's a piece of history.
Mm-hmm. I think I might just let you have it then.
I have enough shirts.
I don't think you do, though.
I think I do, and even though I think I have a couple more on the way as well, and probably won't be the last shirts I buy this year, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Anyways.
This is just not looking good for this track the more I read.
No. I think by the sounds of it, we definitely know its fate.
Uh-oh. YouTube says 8 years ago, abandoned Iliana Motor Speedway.
For my gear this week, repping the B1, Brody Carlsrud for the hat, because I thought I was wearing his hat at Red River Valley Speedway, not knowing that I grabbed the wrong hat. I had 3 hats in my car, and I grabbed the one that was not the B1. So apologize, Brody. Was planning to rep you at the track. So repping you on the podcast. Although I did just find a really cool hat. This is
that is a cool one.
It's a Feist Racing number 51 hat.
Huh.
Wow, that's an antique.
Yeah,
It
I have
is.
no idea when I would have gotten this hat. So the things I find at my parents' place, as you can see, I'm in my bedroom. It's all racing stuff in the background too. For the shirt, I am repping the 7BR Lucas Boyce. He drives a street stock out of Hinckley, Minnesota. A little bit cumbersome to turn around, but his car is on the back as well. He did just have his best finish of the season on Saturday at Brainerd, second place. Still looking for that first feature win in the street stocks, and so good friend of mine from out in the Ogilvie area, and we'll hopefully see him as the season winds down here for some of the year-end specials. So that is who or what we are repping for this episode, and we will now move into the hot sauce, hot memory rewind, and give a shout out to good old hot sauce Isaac Sondrol, the 12S IMCA modified and 104 IMCA stock car. Did get a race in this week over at the Nodak Speedway for their 4,000 win Monte Lundy Memorial. He finished in 12th position in a very, very stacked field of cars. We need to work on his heat races, so that way he doesn't start so far back, but we'll hopefully get that worked in. If you see Isaac, stop on down in his pit area. One of the nicest guys to talk to and one of the nicest families you'll find at the racetrack. And 12S Racing on Facebook is where you can follow his racing adventures. So thank you, Isaac, for your support of the podcast. All right, Jessup, what do you got this week?
Oh, I got stuff for you.
I bet you he has pictures. Look at all those pictures.
All right. So, same as always, we have to name the driver, and let's go with the year.
It's a super stock. Oh, jeez.
Ha ha ha. This individual has raced many classes.
Myron Schockert.
He's out of the Minnesota area.
Well, Myron Schockert is from Minnesota, so that part was correct.
Still races, maybe? Is pretty good in a street stock. Initials are JP.
Justin Pagonis?
That is correct.
I didn't know he raced in 01.
This is not 01.
Oh,
the
is
car.
that?
Yes, the car, yes. According to what the thing says.
Okay.
John, why were you so quiet?
Mason, what other number did Justin Pagonis run it?
Oh, I keep thinking Tommy. Sorry, I was thinking 04.
This is why just if I was so quiet, I'm like, Pagonis has always been 01.
Justin does not race anymore, by the way.
Was it last year or 2 years ago that he retired?
Two,
it'd be two now, because I think this is this Tommy's second full-time year on the streets?
Yes.
Let's take a quick look.
Believe, yeah. Because Tommy was the rookie of the year last year.
Yes.
Okay, according to my race pass,
he ran away with the rookie of the year battle, if I remember correctly.
He did. Yeah, he had that pretty much in hand by about, the August time frame.
Yeah.
Oh, now I feel so dumb. Of course, Justin Pagonis, 01.
Yep, 2023. All right, on to our next guy. This should be an easy one.
This is Tim Johnson.
Tim Johnson.
Like I said, easy one. Okay, we're going to give John another easy one here. Ha!
That's Kurt Myers.
Okay.
I would not have guessed that one.
Trying to find ones that aren't too terribly difficult. Okay. We'll go with this guy.
John trying to zoom in on the names.
That is there's two drivers. Is that Blake Judving?
Yep. Very good, John. We're not going to go with that one or that one because I've never heard of half of these people. I don't think we would get any of these guys. Nope.
Well, how do you know unless you ask?
Okay, fine. You want to go? Let's go.
That's Jeremy Kurzman.
Well, John got one. Mason, did you get it yet?
I see. I saw a race this weekend too.
That is not Jeremy Kurzman.
This one, I don't know how it connects with the number.
This one I don't know. I'm not sure.
No
Yeah.
idea.
Scott Mattis. Well, here's another Jeremy.
That's Jeremy Kurzman.
Yeah. Let's see. We're gonna go all the
Used
way
to come to the
this.
Stampede.
Oh, okay.
That's Roy
Joy
Strelowski.
Strowski.
Dang. Kind of figured you'd get that one.
That was back when Royce was running a Bomber, a Minnesota Street Stock, a Outlaw Street Stock, a Minnesota Super Stock.
Wow.
Let's go with this one.
Well, you got to put it up a little bit. That is
Don
that is
Zabel. Dwayne Zabel.
That is Dwayne Zabel.
Dwayne Zabel. Good job, you two. You guys said you didn't know.
Well,
Didn't have a
Mason
clue.
said he did know Super Stocks.
They're my weakest class by far. Nowadays, not so much, but if it was like 90s, early 2000s, it's definitely my
Jessup, I
weakest
think
class.
that first car that you have in your hand right there, I think that was Royale.
This one?
No.
This one.
Yeah, that's definitely Royale.
No, John. No, it is not. There's none here that are royal. Up.
5R.
Let's go with this one. Haha.
The 7?
Yep.
Is that Nate Hand?
Nope.
Harry Hansen.
Nope. Brad Edgington.
I don't think I would have known that one. The one behind that is Dwayne Lair.
John did name that one correctly. Good job, John. Okay. Let's test John's knowledge here.
The 10, is that... Okay, I've got two drivers in mind. And I don't
Okay.
think it's the first one.
I'll name both. I know.
Okay, so the first one I have is a Robertson. I'm thinking Barry Robertson, but I don't think that's right.
Nope.
The other one I'm thinking of is, oh God, he still races. He's over in Wisconsin.
Is it Jeff Eisner?
No, I like where John's heading.
No, but what's his name? I can't think of his name anymore.
Race the late model.
Yeah, Pete Parker.
No. This is 10R. He still races. MR. Those are the initials. MR. You're in the right area.
R.
Mike Raboyne.
Oh,
He races
Yeah,
over at Cedar Lake, and then a few
yeah,
times
he's a
between-
Cedar Lake guy.
He's a Cedar Lake guy. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of him though. I was thinking of somebody else. But who was the other guy I was thinking of? Rich Bitchup. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. That's not who I thought you were going with. I
No,
was
but
like,
that's
when
where I
you
was
said
going.
when you said he races in Wisconsin, I'm like, dang, this is a good pull for John.
Because Rich is the same way. He's still. I think he hasn't raced a whole lot this year, but I know he was still racing last year and the year before.
You did pretty good. Now, John, can you name the year for all those?
I'm thinking year-wise, that has to be 2003-ish.
Close.
2?
Yep.
Okay.
But that's what I got. You guys did really good tonight.
Good job,
Okay.
Mason. High five.
You too.
This is my contribution for the hot sauce this week. This is one of my collages from
Ooh.
Are we looking?
Well, let's see. So we got Donnie shots. We have more. I think we have more Donnie shots because it's reflecting off the screen.
Yep, sorry.
Let's see. I only got.
We have Mike Sitzman. We have the 9. Oh, we have Kerry Mundall in there. We have Scott Butts in there.
Is that 9 Wade Nygaard?
I think so.
Is it?
Or is that Wayne Anderson?
I think that's Wayne Anderson.
Oh, it might be Wayne Anderson.
Go up here a little bit, Mason. Keep going. Okay, so let's
You gotta
see.
have a map.
We've got Kennedy in there. Luke Kennedy Jr. Johnny Johnson's in there.
Now
You got the
that's
Conways.
classic
Robbie
racing.
Conway's in there. There's Kerry Mundell in the one.
Johnny Johnson.
There's Dick
Dick
Schultz on the
in
bottom.
corner. Yeah, so these
Interesting.
are,
It's a good job.
I think these are actually the first pictures I ever collected as a kid.
From about, what, 96 through 98?
Yep. Yeah, I think some of the earliest ones are 96 and it goes up to 98. Yeah. Little piece of my childhood.
That was nice of you to share that, Mason.
Thank you. I need to make another collage with all the pictures I've collected from the last couple years because I have a bunch of extra I could stick in some collages.
This is true.
This is true.
So that'll do it for this week's Hot Sauce Hot Memory Rewind. And now on to the Track Pack Report, which 4 nights worth of racing. Mine started off at Norman County. It was a Legend special, so they had a good field of Legends there. They had 21 there. And then their other classes that they were racing were Midwest Mods, IMCA Hobby Stocks, Sport Mods, and Stock Cars. Now, your Midwest Modified started off the program with Brennan Schmidt. I almost said Brennan Waite.
You did. You got really close there. I was ready to throw the caution.
Oh, that was like, oof. Saved the car. Saved the car, didn't have a full spin. Brennan Schmidt in the 32B, picking up the win in the Midwest Modifieds. IMCA hobby stocks were up next. That was a really good race. We had Reed Randall from Park Rapids battling hard with Jaden Strandberg all the way from Worthington, Minnesota. He has family up there that they camp out kind of in the Glendon area, and so he was up there racing on Thursday again. Beating and banging a little bit to the finish line, but Reed Randall edged out Jaden for the feature win, so congratulations to 95 of Reed Randall. IMCA Sport Mods. This guy has been on a tear as of late. The 4D at Kyle Van Mill. His first season in the Sport Mods rocketed the high side and passed everyone to get the feature win. And then the IMCA Stock Cars. His dad, who has had a little bit of a down season compared to previous years, but he held off Daniel Aberly for the IMCA Stock Car win. And then in your NX Legends, another great race. We had drivers like Scotty Richardson, Ty Wilkie, Sean Johnson, and Ryan Brosseth battling at the front. And Ryan held off several charges from Scott Richardson. I think Scott probably had the fastest car, but the cautions just fell at the wrong time for the 79 machine. And Ryan Brosseth gets back into victory lane in the NX Legends to close out the night at Norman County Raceway on Thursday. And so then we move on to our Friday races, heading off to the Dakota Speedway and Drive to Survive night. Jessup, how did Drive to Survive night go?
Everyone basically survived, which
Well,
is
that's
a rare,
good.
like
Especially for the
Drive
high
to
field
Survive,
runners.
like
Mhm.
Drive to Survive the last 5 years, I would say, is like a chaos night, and it literally is a goal to survive the night. And this year is really quiet, really smooth, as in like damage wise, or cars not making it to the end, so to say. But overall, I thought racing was really good. Track was very different than what it usually is, which is good.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a good track. Not saying usual racing's good, just the style of racing was a little different from what fans usually see. Um, but yeah, everything was really good, especially the last couple features. So I'll kick it off to the man with the plan and the man with the power who sits in a tower. John?
Ooh, I like that one.
Double rhyme. Wow.
I'm definitely going to start using that from now on.
Princess John and
So-
his tower.
I will say overall the night was really entertaining. A lot of really good racing. Like Jessup said, the track was a little bit different than what we're used to from the Mandan side, which produced some awesome feature action. Also some really good racing in your heat races. We had 111 cars total. And it was also the slingshot night one of the Nationals. And Caden Davenport picked up the win over the Keller sisters. The Keller sisters were second and third on opening night of the Slingshot Nationals. in your hobby stock division, it's a man that has been on a mission this year, has really found his own in that class, and it was Brody Michelson, who picked up a very popular win again in your hobby stocks. Brody is starting to enter into the high school sports season, so he's going to be kind of few and far between, I think, with racing events to end his season. But however, it's had a very nice 2025 season. And going into Friday night, he's currently second in the points. He's probably going to drop down as it looks like he might be missing Friday night for high school sports. In your legends, that class, as some would say, has become quite large. And they had a car count of 41 legends in attendance on Friday night. And guess what? They went clean and green for their feature event. And the legends were real on the high side. And it was a battle between Austin Weiss and Preston Martin, who were also 1-2 over at Jamestown the previous Saturday night. They were battling hard on Friday night, with Austin leading a majority of that race and Preston getting around him with about 4 laps to go to pick up the win at the Dakota Speedway. Now let's talk about the IMCA stock car division. The IMCA stock car division had a great race on Friday night. It was a 3 to 4 to 5 car battle up front from times to time, and there was a lot of moving and shaking in that feature event. For instance, drivers were making the bottom work right away out of that feature. You had drivers like Sean Volk and Brock Beater, who started deeper in the field and had worked their way up to the top 3 quite quick within that race. You then had drivers that even started deeper in the field that were making the middle to high side work. And those drivers were your points leader, Jeff Hellman. Your second place in points, Mad Dosh, was making the middle work. Scotty Gardner in the Zero Mopar was making the high side work. And then you had the veteran driver of Marlon Seiler up front leading the charge. As the race progressed, you had Seiler in the middle, Hellman on the high side, and Dosh was on the bottom. And they were all three making different lines work within that race to where the pass was made for the lead with about 3 to 4 laps to go, with Hellman passing the 7 machine of Seiler out of turn 2 on the high side. High side was better in 1 and 2. Low side was better in 3 and 4. You had Dosh, who also made the bottom work in 1 and 2, had a great run out of turn 2, and got second at the line with only a couple laps remaining. The pass for the lead was made at the white flag lap, where Dosh led that lap. Matt Dosh led Jeff Hellman to the high side. Hellman passed him back down the back straightaway out of turn 2. They went into 3 and 4. Hellman went down to the middle, slid up just a little bit, and Dosh got the run on the bottom out of turn 4 to beat him to the line for the feature win. That race right now, 1 point going into championship night between those two drivers for the championship. And with IMCA points, it is related to your position in the feature finishes. So again, 1 point between those drivers. I don't know exactly what the tiebreaker would be if there was a tiebreaker. I'm sure we'll find that out before Friday. But that one is definitely very close within the point standings for your IMCA stock cars, and a great race, a really good race in your stock car division. Then we went into your IMCA modifieds, and your IMCA modifieds had a great race on that too. You had some big shoes there on Friday night. You had drivers like Jason Walla in attendance. You had Jeremy Keller, who's been on a tear at the Dakota Speedway. You had John Carell back in attendance in the 5 machine after winning the Governor's Cup on night 2. It was the battle up front between Marlon Seiler leading, Jason the Big Show Walla, the 11 of Jeremy Keller was coming to the front, the 99 of Sean Strand was coming to the front. In the mix, with about 3 laps to go, it was Walla leading and Keller right behind him. And Jason Walla was using the high side through 1 and 2, the bottom in 3 and 4. Keller was building up momentum on the high side on both turns throughout the track. Down the back straightaway with 2 laps to go, those two drivers did a crossover move with Walla taking the lead again as they hit the white flag at the stripe. Going into turns 1 and 2, getting a little bit too high. Keller doing the run right through the middle. Walla getting the pass back for the lead on the back straightaway off the track, getting completely sideways when he got back on the track right in front of Keller to get to the bottom in 3 and 4. He slid up through 3 and 4. Out of turn 4, Jeremy Keller got the run, crossed him to the bottom, and got the win at the line for a great future race in your IMCA Modifieds. A few of those races on Friday night, probably the best racing I've seen in Mandan in over 10 years. And I've been out there for many, many years, but the track was really, really good. It had multiple grooves. It was more of an elbows up type racing. They were really pushing hard within those feature events. Track was not rough by any means, but it was definitely one of those tracks where you could get up and you could drive the car and you could drive it hard. There was definitely some areas within that track that you could definitely grab onto moisture on, and it provided some really fantastic racing.
Excellent to hear. And yeah, saw a couple of those highlights made it to the Doom Scrolls. So
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. I didn't like how far they cut it, like zoomed in on the camera work. That was weird.
I agree.
yeah, because they try to make it like I think mobile friendly, and so they cut off the sides and
They
yeah,
kind of squish it.
yeah.
Ick. Meanwhile, you have me zooming myself in as far as it can go to be close on the backstretch.
Really good racing, great track conditions, and we were still done. I believe it was right after 10:15 when we got finished for the night. And not a lot of cautions. A few cautions here or there, but pretty clean and green all night.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought everything went really, really well, and no one died in the high heel race, which is a good thing.
No bloodshed this time.
Although I
No
will
bloodshed.
say, if we go back and watch it, there might have been a false start in the racer high heel race.
I thought so too when I was watching.
thought
I'm
so.
like,
I
Yep, I
think
thought
there
so.
were a couple of runners who started too soon, and the win may or may not have to be reversed. We're gonna have to.
I would agree with you. And you know what? What's even better about this whole thing, that announcer that was down there did not even catch it.
Yeah. Well, you get caught up with all the excitement and emotion down on trackside.
And Mason, I have to say this really quick. You were at a place that I think had a lot of cars.
Were there
that
a
was
lot
my
of
main
cars?
takeaway from where I was on Friday because I went to I-94 Speedway, my first time over there in over 2 months, which is actually very surprising to think about. 142 cars in
That's a
5
pretty good
classes.
number.
Yeah, a lot of cars. It was the Bob Gierke Memorial, 5th annual Bob Gierke Memorial. So they had a really good field with sort of modifieds and Midwest modifieds. Both of those classes had elevated payouts, 1,026 to win in the Midwest mods and 2,026 in the modifieds. Now, in your street stocks, solid field of 23 cars, they were on track for their feature first, and it was a slide job city race between Kyle Dykoff, Levi Rand, and then you had Jim Gulks in the mist, who started 12th on the field. And there was a little bit of contact on a couple of those sliders, and thankfully, no one got turned in the front stretch wall because sometimes it's easy to kind of squeeze people into the wall and kind of get a big wreck. But thankfully, everyone stayed straight. Jim Gulkson ended up with the feature win in front of Levi Rand, and that was a really fun way to kick off feature action. Up second on the night was the Soda Modifieds. Again, 43 of those checked on in. We had Ryan Gierke starting on the outside pole. And this was a clean and green race, 26 laps, and he led every single lap. Now, one of my duties this night was victory lane. So as he's continually leading and kind of building up a sizable lead, here's me in the infield. You know that meme of Kermit that kind of goes like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like, oh gosh, if he pulls this off, I better not screw this interview up.
I think at that point you just say, congratulations. What does this mean to you? Give them the microphone and let them run.
That's pretty much what I did. I kept it simple and just let him do the talking because I can't imagine the pressure on trying to win a race where it's honoring one of your loved ones, family members. And that was a very, very big win. Very well received from the crowd as well. Like you don't hear the crowd a lot very vocally in Fergus Falls. You could hear them very vocally during this victory lane celebration. So congratulations to Ryan Gierke. He held off the 6X of Bryce Sword for the feature win. So that was your modifieds. Up next was your Midwest modifieds, 39 Midwest modifieds. So another great field of cars there. And surprisingly, so both mods and Midwest mods had Revenge Draw. And one of the guys that actually got a really good starting position on the Revenge Draw was Lucas the Nightmare Rodin. Now, he's another guy that, by his standards, has not had the greatest season. And so he got out to the lead a few laps in and started kind of making laps and big heavyweight battle behind him. You had Landon Rand, who was trying to come up deeper in the field. You had Jake Smith coming up from a deep spot, William Moulter, Reese Stenberg, and there were haymakers being thrown. A lot of slide jobs in this one too. Came down to a last restart where Jake Smith had come up into the top three, made one last run through 3 and 4 as Lucas almost jumped the cushion, but he hung on to get the feature win for the Bob Gierke Memorial. And believe it or not, that is his first feature win since May 23rd.
Wow.
Yes. May 23rd was his last time that the 19 visited Victory Lane in the Midwest Modified. So big win for Lucas Rodin. He finished in front of Jake Smith and Cole Boston in the 33C. Up after the Midwest Modifieds was your Gen X late models with 23 of them in attendance. They've had a really good car count in the Gen X late models when I-94 has been able to race. They've been plagued by weather and cancellations all summer long. And this guy has been winning at various tracks around the region, and he put on a dominating clinic, and that was the 15 of Trevor Walsh. Got out to the lead right away, and no one was in his zip code. Ran away with the feature win, and he gets, I believe he said, victory number 8 on the season for Trevor Walsh. Then in your Hornets, with 14 of them in attendance, it was the 701 of Hunter Goulet making a 3-wide pass on Christian Cast, and also in the battle was Jeff Roners. So big heavyweight battle at the front of the field, and the 701 of Hunter Goulet comes out on top. And the last race of the night was the King of Dirt makeup for the modifieds. And this was an interesting race because it was a battle front between the Cowboy, 20X Travis Sauer, and the 7A of Shane Sabraski. Now, those two were battling hard and almost created some contact going into turn 3 and 4 with just a few laps remaining, where Travis Sauer got the lead, and he was railing the high side, like typical Travis Sauer fashion, and starting to stretch the gap. And then coming out of turn 4 with just 2 laps to go, the right rear tire explodes.
Really?
Yes. So that handed the lead back to Shane Sabraski on the sprint to the finish. And Landon Atkinson, who has got a knack for winning some big races, especially around this time of year, made a slide job move in 3 and 4. The two went side by side out of the corner, and Landon edged ahead to get the feature win for the King of Dirt makeup race. So congratulations to the 18A of Landon Atkinson for finishing out the night at I-94 EMR Speedway. So that was Friday night action. What happened on Saturday in Jamestown for the Jeff Carpenter Memorial, John?
So we had 106 cars in attendance on Saturday night. A lot of things going on. So you had the Jeff Carpenter Memorial. Thank you to the Carpenter family, as well as Tony and Courtney Smith, Randy Klein. And they had over 60 sponsors that donated $15,000 to the purse for the Minnesota Midwest Modifieds. So they were racing for $2,337 to win, $1,037 for second, and then it kept going on down the line. They also had increased payouts for third and seventh, just because it was Jeff's number with a 3 and the 7. And then also it went down to $237 to start that feature event. So really nice deep payout throughout that whole entire field. Top 10 were still almost $500 to win through the top 10. So let's start it off though at the beginning of the night, because we had the high heels race, the Togstead Care Fund, who provides rides to the cancer patients that are at the Jamestown Regional Medical Center, also gives them gift cards for meals and also for gas coupons if they have to go out of town. Actually, that fund has raised almost $100,000 in the last almost 9 years. So a lot of money has been raised for that fund throughout the Jamestown area. So really good job there. We started with your slingshots. It was Slingshot Nationals, and it was Caden Davenport who was ahead. But with 2 laps to go, spun out all by his lonesome in turn 4. That put Aubrey Edinger ahead, and she held off Easton Olsen, and Caden got back up to third at the line to pick up her first ever Jamestown win. So it was Aubrey Edinger, Easton Olsen, and Caden Davenport, your top 3. In your Bombers, the Bomber division was racing for $537 to win. on Saturday night, courtesy of the Carpenter family. We had 20 bombers in attendance, and the track had just been freshly farmed, so it was really racy, pretty tacked up, and it was a battle up front between the Stopworth brothers, as Lane Stopworth grabbed the lead right away, and Bradley Stopworth got around him with about 5 laps to go, and they were side by side at the white flag before Bradley beat Lane out of turn 4 at the line to pick up the win. Interesting thing about the Bombers, Travis Ettinger had problems with about 3 laps to go. He made it 4 wide in turn 2 before they had a caution in turns 3 and 4. And in that 4 wide mix, got a flat right rear tire. Went into the pits to change it, ended up 13th. Well, his closest competition in the points is Carly Horner and Kelly Horner, father-daughter. They finished 4th and 5th. So going into this week, Carly and Travis are tied for the points lead with Kelly 3 points back to figure out who's going to be the champion this week. So really close points battle in your Bombers. In your Inex Legends had a really good battle up front. They were all over the track right away to start this feature event. As you had Joshua Weiss ripping the high side, you had Ty Olson ripping the high side. But the driver that was really making up moves throughout the field was Andrew Bargman. Bargman was on the move. And Regan Ranke was right there as well. Regan Ranke was right there as well, right on his tail light throughout the whole entire feature event, and made the move to try to pass for the win coming out of turn 4. And Andrew beat him basically by half a car to the line. So it was Andrew Bargman that won, Ranke in second, and then a lot of great runs in that field. Trevor Saar, who started 15th on the field, finished 3rd in the 29S machine. Then it was Ty Olson and Preston Martin in your top 5. That was also the Legends National Qualifier on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
So they had 17 cars in attendance for the Legends. Your Wissota Street Stocks had 19 drivers in attendance, and they switched up the order a little bit. So instead of having the Street Stocks before the mods to end the night, the Street Stocks were after the Bombers, because they ran the Midwest mods last with the Carpenter Memorial. So it was Bombers, Streets, Legends, mods, Midwest mods. That's how your feature went. So the Streets came out 19 cars deep. Interesting little note. Top 3 in passing points top 3 in national points were all there on Saturday night. Colton Brower, who has 29 wins, was there. Trey Hess, who is second currently in national points, was there. And Cole Gresseth, your current points leader, was also there. And the battle up front was intense in this race because they had 1 caution in this feature event, and that was the only one they had. And it was Casey Eustatus, who was railing the high side. And about halfway through that race, you could tell Casey was getting just a little bit tight. And the driver on the move was Jody Michelson. Jody had worked his way through the middle part of the track. And then towards the end of that race, the bottom started coming in. Because I was watching drivers like Colton Brower, who had kind of stayed between around that 7th to 9th area because he started 9th. And he found the bottom. And in the matter of like 4 laps to conclude that race, had worked his way up to 4th using the bottom. Well, Jody went down to the bottom too with only a couple laps left and made the pass on Casey out of turn 4 with the white flag and held off Casey the next lap to pick up his Jamestown win, his first one of the year in Jamestown in the 54. So Casey was second in the 2U machine. The only caution in that race was actually where your points leader Cole Gresseth and Billy Chris got together in turns 1 and 2. Cole got into the back bumper of Billy. They spun out. Billy got a flat tire. Cole went to the back, got back up to 8th. But I believe Cole had a better car than 8th for sure on Saturday night. The driver on the move, though, was Dustin Erickson. Dustin started 15th, got 3rd. Trey Hess got 5th. Colton Brower got 4th. And another driver that was on the move, Jessup, was Chris Ritter, who has been having engine problems and been plagued with that. He actually was going to miss the whole night. He pulled into the pits and was not able to get the car running right for the heat race, was going to call it a night. They did some work on it. They got it fixed. He came out, started 19th in the feature, and got 7th. He moved up 12 spots with only 1 caution in that race, too. So really good run for Chris Ritter in the 17. Then let's go to your modifieds. Modifieds, it was a great battle up front between Jacoby Trout and Lindsey Hansen. And Lindsey Hansen, when Jacoby were throwing sliders back and forth, caution came out with about 10 laps in, about 15 to go. Lindsey got the lead, and then he held off the hard chargers of Zach Nord, John Carell had eventually worked his way up to second with only a few laps left, and also Jordan Sowers. So Sowers was on the bottom, Johnny C was on the high side, Zach was kind of in the middle, and they were kind of throwing it back and forth. Johnny C got a run out of turn 2 with 2 laps left, did a slider on Zach Nord in 3 and 4, got up to second, but by that time, Lindsay was over a second and ahead. So Lindsay Hansen, second Jamestown win this year in the 32 machine. And then we had 27 Wissota Midwest Modifieds for the Carpenter Memorial. And in that race, it was a really good battle up front because you had drivers that started on the pole of Josh Ganser. Jaron Wimstead started second in that race. Kyle Anderson started third. Aaron Michael started fourth. And in the redraw, some of your hot shoes in that redraw started deeper in the field to where you had Matt Scow, who started seventh. You had the 21 out of St. Joseph, Minnesota, of Jake Smith, first time to Jamestown, started eighth. Lucas Rodin, who started 10th. And Brennan Waite, your two-time and defending winner, who did not make the call for the heat race. Something went wrong with the car for the heat race. Started tail end in the Consi. They ran a shortened Consi because all the drivers in the Consi ended up going because we had 2 drivers that dropped out of the Consi. So instead of starting 24 cars and not taking one of them from the Consi, they took all of them. So they ran a 6-lap, almost like dash, to figure out who was going to be the 17th through 25th starters. And then when they went through that realm, Brennan started 19th in that field. There was a lot of moving and shaking in that race because Jaron Wimstead was your leader, and he broke leading with about 4 to 5 laps into that race. He just slowed on the high side going into 3 and 4 as he had hard chargers like Kyle Anderson was to the bottom of him, and you had Matt Scow going to the middle of him, and he just broke. Car shut off, was done for the night. Then a little bit later on into that race, you had Jake Smith, who was making a run towards the lead with Kyle Anderson. And Jake was working the bottom, slowly getting the bottom worked in, working the bottom. Matt was more middle to the high side, also went down to the bottom as well. Kyle was more high side on the track and then went to the bottom of the track. But during this battle, the driver that was on the move on the high side, who had worked his way up to 5th, was the Nightmare Lucas Rodin, who won the night before. And Lucas broke a drive shaft coming out of turn 4 down the front straightaway, and that ended his run to the front. He was making the pass for 4th when that happened. So 2 hot shoes in Jamestown with Jaron Winstead and Lucas Rodin both out of the race kind of opened the door a little bit to where Jake Smith got the lead in that race about 10 laps in, and then kind of said cruise control after that. Jake kind of stretched it over the field. You had a great battle for second between Matt Scow and Aaron Michael and Kyle Anderson. Matt Scow was using the high side of the track, and Aaron Michael was using the bottom. And he was just slowly making that bottom work. Every single lap, you gain a little bit more on Scow, a little bit more on Scow. They were side by side at the white flag, and Scow got him out of turn number 4 on the white flag, on the checkered flag lap to get into second. You also had drivers that were working through the field like Brennan Waite, right? So Brennan got 5th after starting 19th, moved up 14 spots in that feature event. You had Kyle Anderson, your points leader, who got 4th. You had Jason Grimes, who started 13th and got 6th. You had Bailey Cousins, who started back in 18th and got 10th. So a lot of, and then you had Zach Reinke, who I believe started 23rd and got 11th. So a lot of moving and shaking in that feature event, and not a lot of cautions. I think they only ended up with 3 cautions in the Midwest Modified feature.
Nice. Great way to end the Carpenter Memorial. And you know, when the big money's on the line, Jake Smith is going to be one you're going to have to deal with. And not a big surprise to see him parking in Victory Lane his first time visit over to Jamestown.
Very smooth. He's a super smooth going into the turn, and especially able just to rotate through the middle of the turn really well. Jamestown, we had a good night overall. We got done right around 10:35.
Yep, that was about the same time we got done over at the Red River Valley Speedway, because I was at the Howie Schill Memorial, where they had a lot of late models.
It was quite large.
It was a large field of late models. I don't know if all of them took the green in the heat race because they do pre-registration, but 51 had checked in for that Saturday race.
That is darn good, Mason. 47 the first night. They had 46 take the green flag throughout the heat races, and then 51 night 2. And that is awesome to see.
Yeah. And so to start that race, I think they had a sponsor come in and add $50 to each spot. So I think just to start that race was $4.94.
Wow.
So, and Yeah, so there was a massive payout throughout the field for the late models. Also racing in Red River Valley was the IMCA Race Saver Sprints, the IMCA Sport Bets, and IMCA Stock Cars. And features, for the most part, went pretty darn quick because we went clean and green in that Race Saver Sprints. We had Dylan Waxhaw, who had won on the Friday night before, leading early, but then Ty Wilkie, who started sixth, using the bottom, just passed one car at a time, and just was reeling guys in. He made the move on Dylan in lap traffic and absolutely checked out to get the feature win. So Hollywood Ty Wilkie gets another feature win in the Race Saver Sprint Cars. The IMCA Sport Mods, 22 of them, clean and green race. Fun race to watch as Scott Jacobson started 10th, got to the lead just a handful of laps in. One guy who was working really well was Carter Rested in the 16, a rookie in the division. He unfortunately had a brief spin out in turns 1 and 2, but kept it going, and everyone avoided him, so they kept it clean and green. But Ryan Rested, his dad, was also making his way up from 11th and threw a couple runs at Scott. I believe they briefly exchanged the lead with just a couple laps to go, but Scott Jacobson held on to the feature win there in the IMCA Sport Mods. And then in your IMCA stock cars, Rick Schultz, who has been plagued with some bad luck and misfortune and just struggling to finish some races, led from the drop of the green flag, survived a couple of crazy restarts where they went 3 and 4 wide. They just had 10 cars in attendance, but I think they were 3 wide for pretty much all but like 2 or 3 laps, some point throughout the field. It was a crazy race to watch, but Rick Schultz, calm, cool, and collected, gets the feature win out at the Red River Valley Speedway. And then we had your 34 lapper for your Wissota late models. Your front row consisted of Josh Zimpel and Don Shaw. And those two put on a great battle early on for the first few laps, exchanging the lead a couple of times. Don Shaw then started to kind of go on cruise control. There's a long green flag run to start the race. But working the bottom was Travis Robertson in the 8R, looking really good this year in the late model, while Don was running the high side. Travis made the pass on him, as well as Tucker Peterson in the 27P. Tucker's been coming on pretty strong and being consistent in some of these big races as well. So those two are working the bottom, but then Tucker, starting to move around the track using the middle, got around Travis Robertson with just about, I want to say, 4 laps to go, and was starting to open up the gap, and then they had a caution. They had a caution with about 3 laps to go. Matt Gilbertson and Dustin Strand had gotten together in turns 1 and 2. So that set up a short shootout to the finish where Don Shaw, who had slid back to third, used that restart to slingshot through the middle into the high side around turns 1 and 2, past both Robertson and Tucker Peterson, and he would go on to get the feature win. Tucker rebounded back to second with Travis Robertson in third. The hard charger of the night, Billy Kendall, kind of a surprise visit, 18th to 4th. So a lot of great racing in Wissota late models. They posted highlights of that. I encourage race fans to go check it out because it was a very, very fun race to watch from the stand. And so that was your night over at the Howie Show Memorial for the Wissota late models in the NLRA. Again, very, very good turnout for late models. And then to finish out the weekend, one more memorial race, this time up at the Nodak Speedway for the Monte Lundy 4,000 to win IMCA modified race. John and I were both in attendance. John, what was your main takeaway from Sunday?
Track was really good. They had, I know, got rain the night before, the morning of, and got it packed in, and that thing was smooth and racy the whole night.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked my mom, was like, did you guys get a lot of rain? She's like, well, not a ton. I mean, we got a little bit. I'm like, well, you definitely didn't notice it because it was, like you said, smooth from top to bottom, and they could race all over that dang thing. So besides IMCA Modifieds, they had Slingshots, IMCA Sport Compacts, and IMCA Hobby Stocks. And so Sport Compacts were first out on the track, 10 of them in attendance. Clean and green race, and the 27Z of Zach Eubanks, who's pretty much the dominant guy when it comes to IMCA Sport Compacts around the state, set sail from the drop of the green flag, and he had no challengers for the feature win. So Zach Eubanks put a whooping on the field in IMCA Sport Compacts to start the night. IMCA Hobby Stocks came out next, 16 of them, good solid field as they get ready for their 4,000 win special this next week. Of course, you have Caden Appelt up at the front of the field as well as Caden Tuchscher. Those two are duking out early, battling side by side. But the driver on the move, the 82T of Tyson Grinstead using the bottom part of the track, while you guys like Caden Appout and Kane Tukes are using the high side. Tyson was using that bottom, and Caden Appout got a little bit squirrely out of turn four. Unfortunately, got in the wall and ended his night, and so that opened the door for Tyson and Caden to battle side by side for the last several laps. And John, it was a really fun race to watch to the finish.
It was. They were side by side, and Tyson kept his cool and picked up 2 in a row because he picked up his first ever win over at the Southwest Speedway on Saturday, and then got the win on Sunday at Nodak.
Yep. And then Sunday was also your finale for the Slingshot Nationals they had ran in both Manhattan and Jamestown. 16 cars in attendance. Solid race there. Only one caution, so great job to the youngsters there for putting on a great race. A lot of 2, 3, 4 wide action. And it was the 50 of Gunnar Reynard coming away with a feature win. And I believe it was the 29 of Cade Davenport getting the overall Slingshot National title. So
That's correct.
congratulations to Caden on that. And then that leads us to the 40 lapper for your IMCA modifieds. And you got the who's who of IMCA modified drivers across Western North Dakota. And we had a couple of travelers. We had Johnny C. from Jamestown came up. Jesse Skalicki from Fargo. That was a really big surprise for me. And we also had the Trouts come up as well. So few travelers coming near and far for this event, 32 in total. And from the drop of the green flag, it was a battle at the front of the field, John.
Yeah, Drew Christensen looked really good because he started on the pole on Sunday night and had held the lead for quite a few laps before drivers like Cody Schlope and Travis Hagen. You also had Aaron Turnbull, and you also had Stephen Pfeiffer that was up there for quite a few laps. Marcus Tomlinson was up there right away too, and it was really interesting to watch because once Cody got the lead, then it was a battle between Cody and Travis Hagen to see who could kind of outsmart each other. Was kind of the way I kind of put it. It was basically like seeing who was going to make the first mistake or who was going to make kind of the first wrong move and who was going to pounce on it. And that was where Cody was running more at the bottom and Travis was more on the high side, railing the high side at Nodak, which he's known for over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and yeah, there was a lot of lane swapping because there wasn't really a clear, definite line for it. Just kind of depend on your driving style, and because Cody being used to running the bottom and middle, that's kind of where you gravitated to. Travis on the high side. Those two were exchanging sliders, battling hard side by side through lap traffic. Ultimately, Travis Hagen made the move with just a few laps to go, and he would go on to get the $4,000 to win feature event. Cody did hang on to second at the end. Aaron Turnbull from 15th up to third. Jason the Big Show Wall in fourth, and Zach Doctor, the 6Z, in fifth. So really fun race to watch. Really great to see these 4,000 win shows at Nodak this year have been pretty good, and they got one more coming up this week. So excited to see who all comes up for that show. And so that finishes off your Track Pack report for this week. And we'll look at what's upcoming next week with Mr. Dakota Dirt.
Yeah, race fans, if you want your one-stop shop for everything North Dakota racing schedules, results, recaps, even weather forecasts, just check out Dakota Dirt. They are on social media platforms, and they can help you out with any type of needs that you need for racing in the North Dakota area. They are dakotadirt.org.
Thank you, John. So, as the race season winds down, it's going to be kind of the last hurrah for a couple tracks here. Let's kick it off on Thursday. It is the Ransom County Fair over at the Cheyenne Speedway. So Streets, Midwest Mods, Gen X Lates, NX Legends, Hobby Stocks, and the Short Trackers will be in attendance. Going on to the 22nd, Dakota Speedway hosts their championship night with all of their divisions with the IMCA Modifieds, that really good IMCA stock car points battle, the NX Legends, Hobby Stocks, and Slingshots as well. Then River Cities will be hosting the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, and the big question there is whose car will Donnie Schatz be in? And yeah, the support class for the night, you don't hear this too often, but the support class is will Wissota late models. So somebody who doesn't usually pack the track will be packing a track. Don't know who they're going to get. They might just call the B mods out for that. It's a joke. It's funny because my fantasy team name is B mods pack the track. Anyways,
I'll get you an updated shirt this off season. Believe me.
Mm-hmm.
can it have like a B mod or a Midwest mod with really muddy tires and mud down the sides?
No, what we need to do is we need to get where was that track? Was it Bloomington that you shared
Yes.
earlier today that they had it all mudded up?
You know,
Yes.
our tracks used to look like that too. Many
That would not
moons
go over well
ago.
today.
No, people would be mad. Anyways, moving on to Saturday, 5 tracks will be racing. Let's kick it off with the Williston Basin Speedway, as it is their season championship night. They will be having all of their classes IMCA mods, stock cars, sport mods, hobby stocks, and slingshots in attendance for the night. The Jamestown Speedway will be hosting their season championship night along with back to school night with backpacks for the children that will be in attendance. IMCA mods, Wissota Streets, Wissota Mid mods, NX Legends, hobby stocks, and slingshots. Devil's Lake will be racing as well, as they will be having non-wing sprints, Wissota Mid mods, Wissota Streets, and pure stocks. This will be a good night for the non-wing guys to get a last test setup kind of thrown together to see if it works for the non-wing nationals coming up next weekend, the following weekend, that is. Then Thunder Mountain Speedway will be racing. It is their championship night. IMCA Sport Mods, IMCA Hobby Stocks, IMCA Sport Compacts, Enduros, and Slingshots. So they're going to look to close out their season. And then Red River Valley will be hosting the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. And the sprint car races there are always entertaining to watch. But to close out the weekend on the 24th, the Nodak Speedway has the Bonnie Beater Memorial, 4,000 to win IMCA Hobby Stocks. They will be joined by the IMCA Sport Mods, IMCA Stock Cars, and the IMCA Modifieds. Is what I had. It may have changed.
I think it may have changed.
I don't think the mods are on the schedule. I think that just the stock cars are on the schedule, right, Mason? I think
Yes,
it's
stock
sport
cars,
mods.
sport mods, and slingshots.
Slingshots. All right. Well, we'll drop the mods and add the slingshots.
There we go.
And that kind of wraps up their month of money before going into Motor Magic at Nodak Speedway. But that's something we'll talk about next week.
Yes, basically last regular weekend for most of these tracks with championships being wrapped up. Similar thing outside the state of North Dakota. Thursday, we have season championship at the Norman County Raceway and Fan Appreciation Night. Grand Rapids Speedway is also hosting their championship night along with the Victory Lane Speedway. KRA Speedway still has a couple races on their schedule, but they're back to action after getting washed out by Mother Nature. Friday, the 22nd, season championship down at the Brown County Speedway. The Red Cedar Speedway also racing. Season championship down at Fiesta City Speedway. And I-94 has a couple races left. Regular race night, but they have the Street Stock King of Dirt makeup feature along with their regular racing program. And Princeton Speedway has the UMSS Wing Sprint Car Series. Saturday, the 23rd, we have a Rick Johnson Memorial Street Stock special up at Greenbush Race Park. So a little extra money for the street stocks up there. Track championship night taking place at North Central Speedway and Ogilvie Raceway. We also have Madison Speedway back after a couple weeks off. season championship at Rice Lake and Viking Speedway. And then Sunday, the 24th, Bemidji Speedway has their championship night. Casino Speedway in Watertown is back in action. They still have one more race after this for their points title, and also season championship night for the Proctor Speedway. Actually, that's a rain date. So they just ran their championship night this past Sunday. So Granite City Motor Park is the last track championship night on Sunday. So that is your action for this weekend outside the state of North Dakota. Season is winding down fast. We will now display the white flag and give a shout out to our good friend Brody Carlsrud in the B1 IMCA stock car. Had a couple of solid finishes this weekend, a fourth and a sixth, and looking to get things all ironed out before the year-end specials. Be sure to follow his page, Brody Carlsrud B1 Racing, on Facebook, as well as his podcast, The Real Deal with B1. So thank you, Brody, for your support on the podcast as well. Wins of the week, John. Who do you have for wins of the week?
Okay, so I have 3 drivers for my wins of the week. So my first driver that I have to give a win of the week for, I am wearing his shirt. It is Austin Wiest, who has been on a tear recently. His finishes over the last 6 races, he has got multiple top 5s, multiple wins, and also now a track championship to his name. So Austin picked up the feature win on Saturday night over at the Southwest Speedway. They had, I believe, 32 legends in attendance, and he also picked up the feature win with the track championship. He also was second at Dakota Speedway on Friday night in a field of 41 legends. So congratulations to Austin on a very big night of racing action. My second win of the week. Boy, there's so many to choose from, guys. I'm going to take the dark horse, Travis Hagen. What a huge win over there at the Nodak Speedway for the $4,000 to win Monte Lundy Memorial Race, 4,014. But also, Travis started deep in the field on Saturday over the Southwest Speedway in their only feature event and won that race as well. So he picked up back-to-back nights in victory lane there for the 14T for the dark horse. So congratulations to Travis Hagen over there in that 14T. So late model guys, I'm going to leave to you guys here in the States range. But I'm going to give a win of the week over to a driver that made the Western swing here this week, and that was Chad Becker. Chad Becker picked up the Kelly Hempel Memorial Race. Big win on Saturday night over at the Big Sky Speedway over in Billings. So he was doing very well in that 12B machine, and congratulations to Chad on a huge win over there in the Billings area.
That was fun to see his name pop up on the entry list and out there all weekend. And they had a pretty good turnout for late models all 3 nights. So good to see out there as well.
And
He
a great
won 2 out of the 3 nights.
He
Did
did.
not
He
finish
won
outside
on
the top 5.
Thursday, and he won on Saturday.
Mhm.
He won at Thursday over at the Electric City Speedway.
Excellent set of wins to kick things off. Go ahead, Jessup.
John took my late model guy. That's all right. I think I'll start with Matt Dosh's win. I think that was a really important win because it keeps him in the striking distance. Instead of being 2 or 3 points back, he is now just 1 position back. So that'll lead to a really exciting championship night between Matt and Jeff Hellman. So that'll be my first win. My second win is going to go to Brody Michelson because he basically said that he's done for the season. Unless something wild happens with sports, unless he's going to race maybe Stampede Saturday or
Maybe. Or
Stampede
Oktoberfest.
gets put like super late or Oktoberfest. Even at Oktoberfest, I think it's going to be tough. But I think he's to go out on top and win your last race of the season, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So he's going to get my number 2. I'm going to go. Hmm. I'll go Andrew Barkman for my last win. Andy uh, picked up another win over at Jamestown, and this pretty much seals up the points championship race over there. I'm sure there's still some outside mathematical ways that maybe it could happen that someone might win, but with the Legends being the support class at Fargo, I don't think you're going to get enough cars to make the giant change that will be needed unless everybody from the Mandan, Minot area all decide to head east for one night, which could happen, but I don't foresee that happening. And his win basically locked it up, so that's pretty cool. And I don't know if Andy's ever won a track championship before,
I don't think so.
so he'll be my third winner of the week.
Good deal. So, gonna go a little bit different than I normally do for my 3 wins. I did mention these 3 folks already. I'm gonna start with Ty Wilkie in the 72 machine. He blew a motor on Friday night, actually, at the Red River Valley Speedway. His dad pulled an all-nighter to go down to Sioux Falls to pick up the other car, get that all squared away and set up for Saturday, where he went out and got the feature win. And so he was very appreciative of his dad and all the work that he did to make sure that Ty was even able to race that night. So first win of the week goes to Ty Wilkie. Second win of the week, going to give it to Brennan Schmidt in the 32B Wissota Modified, or Midwest Modified. Not only did he win on Thursday over at Norman County Raceway, he also got another win on the weekend. And the funny thing is about the win on Thursday, so I came into Ada around 6:45, 6:50, and Brennan Schmidt was just coming into town at the same time. The reason being was because he had lost a lot of his equipment on the way to the track. So he has an open trailer, and I don't know what happened, but he was telling me like a lot of his stuff flew out on the highway. They had to retrieve a bunch of it, so he actually lost his receiver and helmet. Barely made it in time for the heat race because the Midwest Mods were first, and got the feature win that night. And he also won at the Red River City Speedway on Friday. So Brendan Schmidt gets my second win of the week. Third win of the week, I'm going to give it to Ryan Broseth. Didn't race a lot at all at the beginning of the year. Had a herniated disc. Not exactly sure how it came to be, but it was great to see him back in the race car over this last week or two. He actually got in the car last week after his brother had run the heat race, and then he jumped in for the feature. So it was great to see him back at Victory Lane over the Norman County Raceway. So hopefully we get to see Ryan Broseth back to full form here as the season winds down here for some of the year-end specials. Any honorable mentions before we wrap up the episode?
Well, I think.
Sabraski?
Go ahead.
I said I was going to go with Shane Sabraski
Yes. 2 wins over at the Clash.
and a third in the late models, and then Jake Smith.
Yep. Jake Smith would be a good one too because he was second on Friday, won in Jamestown on Saturday. I mean, big payouts for him too that weekend.
Yeah, he went on with some cash.
Um,
Kyle Van Mill definitely deserves an honorable mention. Won on Thursday and on Sunday at Buffalo River. Tyson Grinstead getting 2 in a row. That's pretty cool to see his first 2 feature wins in the IMCA Hobby Stocks. And I was gonna put Ryan Gierke as an automatic win of the week just because that's got to be cool to win a memorial race in honor of your dad.
Yep.
So
I also have to kind of give shout outs. Let's just give late models in general. 46 late models and 51 late models at the Howie Schill. Full fields over in Montana. That is pretty darn impressive. That we had that many late models in, and then you had 31 tri-state late models. What was down at Casino on Saturday night?
It was 30 or 31. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's a lot of late models.
That's good.
That is good. Watch to choose from.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see at some of these year-end specials how many we get.
80.
Any other closing thoughts before we wrap up the episode?
Nope.
No, I'm excited, Mason. We're hitting invitational season. We're getting closer.
Yes, looking forward to this weekend. Hopefully, hitting some of the familiar spots. That'll do it for episode 22 of season 4 for the Track Packers podcast. As always, be sure to like, share, and comment on our episodes and let us know where you may be watching from. Thank you to our sponsors, Hitch Harness, The Real Deal with Bill and Brody Carlsrud, and Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol. One of the last regular weeks of the season before you hit invite time. So get out there and pack the track.